Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And today we're going to do a character guide on Xande because I never did one for him because when he came back, he was one of the few characters I didn't have the full kit for. And the odd thing with Xande was like I had his LD but not his EX. So I think it was a couple weeks ago I was just looking and I had extra EX tokens, so I just bought him because I didn't have his EX at all. So I've got him fully built for the first time. So we'll go ahead and get this character guide in on Xande. So if you're not familiar with Xande, he has a very odd combination of Earth and Dark. So he's an Earth Dark magic damage dealer, which can be a bad thing now in the era of Elemental Weakness. But he's really, like right now on Reigns' banner, he's just kind of like a returning LD character. He's not going to be like super meta relevant at the time, right? Maybe when he gets an FR, he'll be a lot better. Who knows, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a look at Xande here, and we're going to see how good his stuff is, right? In terms of what's his damage like compared to other characters. So in this guide, we're going to go ahead and look at his calls, we're going to look at his artifacts, and we're going to look at his spheres. So his calls, I guess his LD call is actually okay. His 15 call, this does nothing. It's literally just damage. I guess it does put a debuff down on the enemies for 6 turns, which basically will be, for some reason he does fire resist down, even though he doesn't have fire damage in his kit. So his it does fire, earth, and dark resist down. So if you want like to imperil the 3 elements, I guess the 15, but his 35 is actually kind of decent, or not his 35, but his LD. The big thing with his LD is that it does do a party dark enchant. So there definitely is use for that, because you might be running an event that's doing an elemental lockout and you have to have dark damage, but maybe you don't have a dark damage dealer. This call could maybe help get you by. So I do see some value in that. It does have elemental weakness damage up as well. And then the actual call itself will unbreak all the enemies. So definitely some uses there. It's not a call that I've ever used or had to use, but I do see some value at least in that LD call. I don't think you should go in and pull Xande for the LD call. But if you're pulling for Reigns and you get it along the way, sure. That's totally fine, right? So let's go ahead and look at Xande himself here. So, funny thing is I literally haven't even like purchased an artifact for him. So during this current event, I'll have to get his artifacts built up. But he's pretty basic. You just want to do attack 108 and then a C50. His C50 is going to give him attack and max brave up. So that's the Great Mage's Disciple up. So you want 2 of those, or you want 3 of those and 3 attack 108s. Attack 108 max brave 330 is also decent as well. And then we're going to go ahead and look at the spheres. So Xande is pretty standard. He's just a magic damage dealer. So you can go with attack, you can go with brave damage, you could go with magic attack. I think any of those are good, or combinations of like attack with max brave, brave damage with max brave, or magic attack and max brave. I think any of those can be good as well. He is an enchant imperiler, so he is going to be doing weakness damage. So weakness damage spheres will work as well. So like Rydia is one I always recommend for weakness damage characters. So I think Rydia is a good slot in there for Xande if you wanted to. You could use Xande's own as well. Xande's own is max brave and brave damage, so that's a decent combo you could do. But I think Rydia is a pretty good shout there. I have like Clouded Darkness here, which is just a magic attack up one. And then I have Aerith, which is another magic attack up one. So I just picked ones that I had a lot of extras of because I personally don't plan to use Xande a lot. So I just threw spheres on there that I knew I had a lot of extras of. I could spare them. They're increasing, stats that he wants, right? All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to hop into the showcase. This honestly is going to be a pretty quick showcase. He has a pretty simple kit because he hasn't really gotten like a major upgrade, right? Like his last upgrade was just C90, but they didn't really do much to him there. Actually, I'm going to swap this out for brothers for now. All right, let's go ahead and hop in here. I think I'm fine with this team comp that I've got. I don't think I really need to change anything. I don't really need to show off a force time or anything, right? All right. Now, the big thing with Xande is he has an overhead buff that stacks, and you want to get that thing stacked up as quick as you can. So his overhead starts at 1 stack. It maxes out at 5. And the reason why that buff is so important is it's got a whole bunch of buffs attached to it. So at 1 stack, it does crit damage up, HP damage up, max brave, elemental weakness damage up, brave stolen up on weakness damage. So it does all that stuff just right away. At 2 stacks, you get an overflow stolen up. At 3 stacks, you get extra splash damage, which is kind of cool. And then at 4 stacks, you get party dark enchant. And at 5 stacks, you get more splash damage. Now, stacks 4 and 5 are only available with the LD, so you have to have the LD to enable those. But really, your goal is you want to get to at least stack 4 as quick as you can, because you want that party dark enchant, because you're going to be using him in fights where you want that weakness damage, right? So let's go ahead and quick prayer on Xande so we can get him going. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and just pop the burst effect with Lunafreya, trying to make him look really good. So what I recommend doing with Xande is starting off with the EX, because since it's charged, it's a good free button you can press. And he's got 3 attacks that can increase the stack. So basically his 15, his EX, and his LD all increase the stacks of the tower. So you want to get that stacked up quickly. So what I recommend is you pop the EX first, because it's already charged. And then that way, as you do more attacks, it'll start recharging. So this is Meteor. So we'll go ahead and watch the attack. I'm curious what his damage is going to look like, because I've really never used Xande up until this point. Okay, 800k with 600 splash. That's not the worst, right? So basically, it's just a Dark and Earth big AoE attack. It does give him 1 more stack. So you see his tower, his overhead went up to 2. And then he gets a buff called, what is it? Pall of Darkness. So Pall of Darkness, it is a stacking buff. And basically, it's going to do an attack up. It's going to increase his EX recast rate, which that's a very unique buff. And then HP damage up. And just it gets better as the stacks go up. So you just want to keep your eye on getting that stacked up. And it's going to help him get his EX up faster, which I think is pretty good, right? So after the EX, then I would pop into the LD. The big thing with the LD is it's going to give him 2 stacks. So basically, he starts off with 1 stack of his overhead. The EX gives him another 1. The LD is going to do 2. That gets you to your Dark Enchant. So that's really how I like to open. Now, I forgot to watch the damage there, but this also unbreaks all the enemies, so you're going to get like a break delay off of that. He's going to get a free ability use on his next turn, and then it gives him 2 stacks of his tower, right? So we've got that. So now we can do weak damage up, which just gives you better stats for weakness damage pretty much. Increases your brave damage limit and max brave. So it's just good generic buffs that you'd want to put on. So now you can see we're at 4 stacks. Now what you're going to notice is his 35 changed from Quake to Quagga. So Quagga happens once he has at least 3 stacks. So it's going to improve that attack as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into Libra combo. That's where I would go next, because that is the other attack you can do that gives him a stack of his tower. This is going to max your tower out. So let's go ahead and do Libra combo here. Let's see what kind of damage we get from that. Yeah, that was okay. 470k. That's okay damage, right? Oh, so that one does do fire damage. So he does have fire in his kit. I always thought he was Earth Dark, but yeah, I didn't realize he had fire. So that's where the fire comes in. So his 15 is fire and dark, and his 35 is earth and dark. So the 15 we just did was a fire and dark attack, gives him 1 stack of his tower, and then puts the apprehension of weakness debuff on the enemies, which that imperils for fire, earth, and dark. So it's a triple imperil right there, right? So let's go ahead and swap back into Xande. Okay. And you can see the tower's at 5 stacks, which is good. Alright, Xande's got his EX back up again, right? So sure, let's go and pop the EX again. Because now with the EX, we can continue to stack up the Pall of Darkness buff, which we want to get that stacked up, right, to improve it. So you can see it's at 4 stacks right now. So we'll have to use the EX again to get that up to its 5th stack. So let's go ahead and swap in the Xande again. Alright, now let's go ahead and do Quagga. So Quake and Quagga are the same thing. It's just Quagga does more damage, right? It's going to have more dumps on it. So let's go ahead and do Quagga. And this is the Earth Dark attack. Okay, yeah, just okay damage, right? He's not like a top tier character by any means, right? So that gives him a buff called Dark Sovereignty. Basically, it's going to be an attack up, max brave up, and then it does Earth and Dark enchant to himself. So that's basically it. So the big thing with Xande, once again, is he's got triple element, so Dark, Fire, and Earth. He imperils for all of them. Party enchants for at least the Dark part of it. Enchants himself for Earth and Dark. The big thing with Xande is open with EX and LD. Get your tower at 4 stacks, so you're Dark enchanting. Then I would go in the Libra combo, get you at 5. Once your tower's at 5, then you kind of just do whatever attacks you want. Bounce between the 15 and 35 as filler. Use the EX when it's up. The LD, I would pretty much save that for when you want to do like big force time damage or something like that. Because it doesn't really refresh any buffs. All it does is it adds to your tower, which is already done. So once you've used that LD that first time, you really can hold that as long as you want to. The other time you'd want to use it is if you want an unbreak. So if you want to unbreak the enemies, like maybe you're doing something with, what's his face? Bartza's dad who just came out, Dorgan. So let's say you need to unbreak for Dorgan and you want his follow-up, sure, pop the LD, right? So anyways, guys, there you go. That's Xande. Pretty simple little character. Not anybody I recommend you summon for right now, but I just wanted to put this out so you all know how to play him. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you all on the next one.